into our all sports content and talking about how the United States owns the hockey world. But first, let's get into
And the
this
state of
story.
Michigan.
And this was in the state of Michigan. Yeah, really. So we'll just say the state of Michigan owns the world at that point. But let's get into the most hot button topic over the weekend as it pertained to the soccer world. Lionel Messi. Making a mess, I guess, in some ways. Walked into the officials' locker room after their game against LAFC. Here's the video of that. And obviously, Ryan, you had a chance to kind of cover this on social media, but there is Messi pulling his way into the referee's locker room to try and get maybe a few words
Yeah,
in
Suarez
before
even
being
pulls
sent
him
out.
out, which is funny in the
Yeah.
whole grand scheme of things.
Of all the people to be holding him back, yeah, Suarez to be the one to do it. And obviously that's one of our more popular videos on our page. You talking about all the most famous suspensions he's had. But yeah, interesting to see this character out of Messi.
And character out of
Ryan,
Suarez
I
of being
know you,
a voice of reasoning.
yeah, of being the one that wants to take the high road. But Ryan, I guess I'll let you kind of sound off on this. I know you already talked about it on social media, but I mean, typically we're used to talking about Ronaldo being the one that's emotional and creating drama, but Messi having a not so great moment there for the GOAT.
Yeah, this was actually crazy. So in between the third period and overtime and intermission, I was scrolling through Twitter and I was like, "Oh boy, it's a Messi video. I got to go make a video on it." So I go downstairs and as I post the YouTube short video, the goal goes in for America. So I was like, "All right, that's sweet." So I got all three videos up for that. Hopefully that blows up. Then I go immediately make the reaction winner video. So it all happened so fast. A lot of things were going on, but from what I could tell, and a lot of what the fans were telling me in the comment section was he was really upset with the officiating in that game. I guess there was a lot of egregious tackles from LA that just weren't called. And also, when you're the reigning champion in your first game, you lose 3-0. That's gonna play a little bit of a factor as well. But yeah, no, that's what everyone was saying. The only issue I have with this is the fact that Matt Miazga did this a couple of years ago. I think in 2024, I think was the year. So I guess 2 seasons ago. He did the same thing. Went into a referee locker room unauthorized for being upset about everything, and he got well. Now it was originally a 3-game suspension. Eventually went down to 2-game suspension. But now the MLS says, this was fine and there's no suspension or anything for it. That's the only issue I have is when Matt Miazga does it. That's which U.S. men's national team legend for doing this to one of the Mexico players that was like really short. I forgot which player that was, but that was the failed Mexico hot prospect. Supposed to be their next Pulisic, but he never panned out. But no, outside of that, Miazga, that's the only thing he ever did for the U.S. men's national team. Anyway, like that's my only issue is, and I get it, it's Messi. I get it. Well, the whole situation is Messi, but Lionel Messi, like I get it. It's him. You don't want to upset you're the only reason why people probably tune into your league. The only reason that 90% of your audience is tuning in is probably to check Messi. Maybe 90% is a little bit far fetched, but no, I get you don't want to upset him, but someone's already done this, and you give him a suspension. So I feel like a 2-game suspension for Messi has to be, it's got to be something. Like I think you have to fine him. For your point of Ronaldo typically does this. Yeah, this is typically what Ronaldo does. But I will say this about Messi, and a lot of people have said this. Messi's always viewed as like the good guy, and he's always perceived as the angel. And Ronaldo's the exact opposite. He's the devil. He's always doing this, and that. Like when you look at the two, Messi's always an angel, and Ronaldo's always a bad guy. So. But they always say Messi's always the instigator. Everyone says that Messi always instigates everything, but the aura, I guess, that Messi has and the way that people follow him, they always like stand up for him and stick up for him and do all of his like dirty work for him. He's almost like just the leader of the group, and everyone just comes in and they're like his goons. They're just coming in and doing all the heavy lifting. So everyone has always said that. Does this take away from Messi being the greatest player of all time? No, it doesn't. But this is very. I wouldn't say it's out of character based on what everyone has said over the years and the decades of what Messi does. I wouldn't say it's out of character. It's just finally caught on video. It's finally caught on him doing this. So I think there's that.
Yeah.
Is this something Ronaldo would do? Probably. I think he's probably done it before. I just don't remember. But no, it's just and the fact that it's Miami too. That makes it a bigger issue. But no, I wouldn't say it's out of character because I guess he's done this stuff before. It's just finally caught on video. That's what I would say.
Sometimes I feel like our heroes, we make them out to be something other than human. Like we look at them and we're like, they're above us in different ways, and they're we're mere mortals compared to what they are. And I think Messi is one of those players. He has become superhuman to a lot of people, and so because of
Well, because
that,
he isn't
we
human.
don't expect to see, because he isn't human on the pitch. He certainly isn't, but we don't expect to see the human. That's why it catches people off guard whenever it happens. I mean, is it the first time I've ever seen a player try to get after a referee after a game? Nope. Is it the first time I've ever seen a coach or a manager ever try to get after a referee after a game? Nope. According to ESPN, by the way, that wasn't even the door to the referee's locker room. So he must have just been following the referees, but he didn't actually go into the locker room of the referees. This, according to ESPN and what Major League Soccer had to say. Now, I don't know if they're lying about that or if they're telling the truth, but I believe they are telling the truth. So he didn't violate rather any league protocol. But I think it's hard for people to look and see Messi have this kind of emotional outburst, because they're like, well, he's Messi. Like, typically we don't see that of him. I'm sure this goes on, and I'm sure it goes on in stretches. We just don't really see it because we're not on the pitch, we're not in person. And the other thing you mentioned is it's just not caught on camera. A lot of things are said during the course of what goes on, and even after what goes on. And I guarantee you, in the long, illustrious career of Messi, it's not the first time he's ever either had something to say or has tried to go after a referee before. So I don't think it takes anything away from how great he is. I wouldn't necessarily say it makes him a crybaby. I wouldn't say there's even nearly as much of a track record as someone else like a Ronaldo that we've talked about in length, that we can even say that Messi is like that. But he's human. He's human. And he's not the first superstar I've seen get extremely upset at referees before. And especially with where he is in his career, because he is the best player in the league by far. I don't care who you are. When you get to that level, sometimes you expect special treatment. Sometimes you expect the benefit of the doubt, because you're carrying yourself in the way of, I'm Messi and I'm in Major League Soccer. Therefore, I am the biggest thing here. And he knows that. And I know that he knows that. And so if he, if there's a referee that, either tries to make it more about himself or isn't going to give him that benefit of the doubt, things like this are going to happen. But I know that we live in a reactionary society, and I know that we live in a society that just wants to immediately jump on everything and make conclusions. But this doesn't do a whole lot for me when it comes to Messi or changing my opinion on anything. Do I think he deserves to be suspended for a couple of games? No, I don't. I don't. If anything, suspend him for a game, fine him X amount of dollars. It's not going to matter anyways because of his net worth. I mean, you could probably fine him $1 million. He'd be okay with that. So I don't think he didn't strike anyone. He didn't, obviously he needed someone to hold him back, and we saw that. And yeah, I mean, there's probably people that do his dirty work, sure, but that's the reality of when you get to the level that he's gotten to. People are just going to want to do stuff for you just to be around you, just to be in your space, including your teammates. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the LeBron effect in some ways. Everybody follows LeBron wherever he goes. And so it is, I don't think it's as egregious as people want to make it out to be.
No, I don't think so either. It doesn't change his character at all. Like, it's just a one incident. It's not like he hit anybody, like you mentioned. It's not like he charged after somebody, I guess.
Yeah.
He just wanted some confirmation, I guess, of how bad the calls were. I guess that's just what people were saying.
Yeah.
Some people in the comments. I'll read a couple because a couple of them were funny. One of them was like he just wants his refund back for what he's been paying the refs. So I thought that was funny. But to the point of, I think when you become the greatest player of the world, people want to do stuff for you. That's why Rodrigo de Paul is there, because
Oh yeah.
Rodrigo de Paul, Messi could probably hurt his family, and de Paul would probably be like, "Oh, that's fine, man. Like, it's what it is." But like, I also
Yeah.
think the difference is between a Messi and a Ronaldo. I don't mean to turn this into a Messi Ronaldo debate, but
Mm-hmm.
I think Messi, in terms of like the way he talks to his own players, I think he kind of like creates them as an equal. He kind of like
Yeah.
has their back. He leads by an example. The difference with Ronaldo is it's been reported before that he's just kind of a douche. Like it's like he has had a lot of fallouts
Mm,
with a couple of managers, a couple of players as well. Like, is he a phenomenal player? Yes, he's one of the best of all time. Is he the greatest? No. But when you have the aura that Messi has, everyone's going to try to do everything they can for you. That's just the reality of it, of what it is.
yeah.
LeBron, there's a couple players that I'm sure would probably go to war with him for everything. Maybe not a Kyrie Irving, maybe not a Russell Westbrook,
Yeah.
for those
Right.
types of players. But no, I just ultimately think that when you're so good and you have so much power and so much say, anything goes. Messi might. I'm sure Messi probably looks down on the MLS a little bit. I'm sure he does in terms of the
Hmm.
league and the type of players and the type of environment and atmospheres that he has to play in. I mean, look, he played in the world's largest soccer stadium in Camp Nou for 15
Yeah.
years almost. So he's played some incredible games, and he's played in the Bernabeu. He's played at Old Trafford. Or I don't think he's played at Old Trafford, actually. He's played at Anfield. He's played in historic venues all over the place. And he just looks
Hmm.
at this stuff, and it's like, this ain't a soccer culture or anything like that. He lives in Miami, and he's like, I can probably go to the
Yeah.
grocery store, and nobody knows who I am. And where if I were to go anywhere else in the world, I'd get swarmed by everyone. But no, I just think that, like, he just got so much of an aura about him that, this stuff doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Well, and you're right. I mean, if it was a different player, maybe we'd be having a different conversation. I'm sure the MLS would not hesitate to come down with some sort of
Yeah.
punishment. So, are they giving him the benefit of the doubt? Yeah, absolutely. They're giving him the benefit of the doubt. But also, I mean, let's act like we haven't seen a player upset at a referee before. I mean, like it happens, I feel like, all the time. So, I don't read too terribly far into this when it comes to Messi and everything that happened yesterday. But I do think it's interesting to see, to see that reaction out of him. Because from what I read from Messi, generally speaking, I mean, the guy always seems cool as a cucumber. I mean, he just doesn't really seem like one that will give you that kind of emotional reaction. So if anything, it's probably that referee just going, "Hey, maybe I didn't make the right call. Who knows? Who knows what goes into that." But anyways, yeah, Messi just a messy situation for Messi, to say the least.
Yeah, someone saw a couple of comments here. He's got a couple of minutes. He says, "Hey, bro, he's just trying to get his money back. What's wrong with that?" I mean, hey, if he's just trying to get his money back, I mean, I'd be a little bit more aggressive as well. I'd be a little bit more aggressive than that. Um,
Yep.
this one coming from Alexis. He says, Miami's not repeating an LAFC choking in the playoffs. I really hope Miami doesn't repeat. I think that's the worst thing that can happen for the league in terms of that. Messi already won his. So this guy says lifetime ban and strip him from all of his titles. I'm like, all right, that's a little far,
Ouch.
my man.
All
I
right.
get you don't like him. I get you're a Pinaldo fan. I get it. Leonardo, it's not even his fault. The players are terrible around him. Once Busquets and Alba are gone, it will take a while to recover. Well, we still got Suarez, still got DePaul in there. Who's the goalkeeper?
Yeah.
Dwayne St. Clair's there, the best goalkeeper in the MLS. So sure, I mean Busquets is one of the most. Would he be up there in terms of number sixes? Yeah, Busquets is probably one of the best number sixes, arguably of all time. So I mean, yeah, when he retires, it's gonna take a minute.
Yeah, I mean it's an aging roster. It's an aging roster. So I don't know how Miami plans on replenishing that. How does the do you know how the draft works in Major League Soccer?
It
Is
don't
it
really matter.
similar to other
It don't matter.
professional sports?
It
I
don't
guess it
matter.
really doesn't technically matter.
Um, this coming from Racer. When Dracula himself is preventing a goat from biting, you know it's bad. Well, I don't think Messi was planning on going to bite somebody, but I mean, maybe he was. But I don't think he was ever planning on biting a ref like a Suarez does. Uh, apparently,
I think they realize they need him on the field or they need him on the pitch. And
yeah,
so
that
it's
too. There could be
probably
another
why,
reason.
you know.
Like he's gonna cry why they didn't hand him the game. Well, I mean, if apparently this is why I didn't watch the game, obviously. But what did
Mhm.
he say? You're not reporting. This is from EGZ. You're not reporting why he's so upset. If you watch the game, you saw Messi multiple times get fouled flagrantly with no calls or no cards. Horrible refereeing last night, just atrocious and dangerous. Again, I'd have to go back to watch it, but that's apparently What he's upset about, do I know if it's true or not? No, I don't know because I didn't watch the game. So there's a little bit of a difference about that. So, yeah, just super upset about the refs, I guess. And let's see what happens from there.